Easy Patch number 7. Rust Rebar Repair. Pool Rebar Sealer. This kit also has a cement bonder included. Just add the dry powder mix into a bucket. Put the liquid bonder in and add water. If you use half of the dry mix, just add half of the enclosed liquid acrylic bonder, then add water. For repairing on the walls of the pool, add less water and make into the consistency of mashed potatoes. For doing repairs on the floor of the pool, you will want the consistency of thick gravy. Here's a rust spot that we're using an electric chipper on. You can hammer and chisel it, of course. No need to saw cut unless you prefer doing that. Now we have it down, there's the exposed rebar. We're going to chip an inch underneath it. We're making sure that it's at least 2 inches below the existing plaster. Now we're vacuuming up the debris. We've hammered down the rebar to the bottom of where we chipped out. Now we're using the Easy Patch number 7 and painting the sides and covering the bottom all over. We're also covering the rust rebar. Now we didn't cut out the rebar. You can cut out the rebar if you like, with a metal cutting blade, but it throws metal filings all over, and if you miss one of them, well then you're in trouble. It's going to leave a rust mark. You'll want to clean up the debris right away. With our product, you do not have to cut the rusty rebar steel. Now we're pouring in and filling in the void with the Easy Patch number 7. Sponging off the excess. Make sure you clean the edges too. You don't want any of the gray colored cement showing through of your plaster patch edges. If you like, you can use a heat gun again to get it to set up quicker. It sets up fairly quick. On this other hole, we're drying it out because it was very moist, leaving it damp. Now here's another way. You can just scratch on a coat with a trowel. Working it in and smashing it into the surface, making sure it has a good bond. We're applying more and filling the void. Either way, it will work fine, whatever your preference is. Also, this technique is best when doing repairs on walls. Just scrape away the excess. Make sure it's 3/8 of an inch down so that you can put your plaster patch over it. Again, clean up the surrounding area and clean those edges real good. You don't want any of the gray cement showing through the plaster patch edges. Now we're dabbing it down, packing it down, and making sure that there are no air voids. It's important to continue cleaning your sponge as you're doing the repair, or you're just making more work for yourself. Now we're ready for Easy Patch number 1 or Easy Patch number 1 Fast Set. Apply the mixture and trowel. Now we're scraping off the edge to find exactly where the plaster patch and the existing plaster meet. Sponging the edge will show exactly where they meet. Working our way to the edge. Now we're scraping to find the edge again. Just work around the edge of the patch. Try not to take too much off at a time, so you don't scrape off into the patch beyond where the existing plaster is. Now trowel the patch flat. Work on the edges to blend them in. The edge is set up quicker than the middle. You sometimes need to sponge it again. Just kind of fine-tune, sponge it on the edges. Let it set up a little bit and then hit it with the trowel again. Clean up the excess, a little more fine-tuning, that way you can do a perfect plaster patch. Again, this plaster will match the existing plaster surface given a little time to get the calcium buildup and whatever staining that the plaster has over a period of time.